Phase 2 of the code framework for systematizing your second brain stands for organize. Now, this is an example of how I use Kindle as my second brain. So the beauty about Kindle is it allows you to have 4 different highlighting options, and I color code these for different reasons. So my highlights in blue are stuff that are interesting anecdotes. Perhaps they're not immediately actionable, or there's not necessarily an idea that I'm thinking of when I'm highlighting them, but it is stuff that I think might be useful for a story. For example, here's one about carpenters keeping scraps of their work, and this is very much the concept of building a second brain. You might not know when these odd bits of information are useful, but if you do, you can draw them up at a moment's notice. The next layer of my Kindle as a second brain is my yellow highlights. These are things that I think are important or useful quotes, but stuff that's not necessarily immediately actionable. For example, when the opportunity arrives to do our best work, it's not time for research. You need that to already be done. Again, useful anecdote, but not necessarily something that is immediately actionable. Finally, we move to the stage of orange highlights. Now, these for me are the key take-homes of the books. They're often stuff that I think is reasonably actionable. Now, if I was to revisit the end of the book, my next layer is to read through just these orange highlights, and then I will star the ones that I think are the most important. So, for example, the rule of thumb to follow is that every time you touch a note, you make it a little bit more discoverable for your future self. So one way that I do that is I add notes to my highlights, and this tells me what I was thinking at the time and when I wrote that note. The reason why I like to use the date is because it tells me what was going on in my life at that time, and it also tells me about where my thinking has improved. So for example, here's a note on an Ali Abdaal video about realizing he was attempting to bypass the bottleneck in his business of producing videos, but he'd done it from the wrong end. So all of these notes mean that once I've finished reading a book, it's just a case of flicking back through my notes and flicking back through my orange highlights to get the key components of the book. What I can then do with that is Kindle allows you to export these notes onto Amazon or via Amazon platform. So now these notes are all backed up. So should I wish to copy and paste, then that makes it very easy for me to insert a quote into a specific article. This then helps me when it comes to planning either the video version of the article. So for example, you can see the comments at the side, which allow me to turn what would be an article into a video, and effectively the article forms the script for the video. So it means that rather than writing an article from scratch, I can do what Tiago Forte recommends as only starting projects that are 80% done.